Seconds. That's all it takes. 1 second of coughing, and you're dead. 1 second of panic, and it's over. You are lying in a wooden coffin, alive, buried under layers of planks. Your heart is beating so loud, you are certain they will hear it. Above your head, 200 dogs, thousands of soldiers, electrified fences, the perfect machine of death. And you are a glitch in the system, a mistake that shouldn't exist. This isn't a movie. This is April 1944. This is Auschwitz. And you are the witness. Look at this place. Do not look away. This is not a camp. This is a conveyor belt, an industrial complex, 4 gas chambers, 4 crematoriums. The trains arrived without stopping. The goal was simple: turn people into numbers, numbers into ash, ash into oblivion. But there was one problem with this system. It only worked because the world didn't know. The secret was their weapon. The lie was their shield.
Dad, why is this train so loud?
It's a special train, son. It's taking us to a better life.
Will there really be trees there? That you promised I could climb trees.
There will be trees, son. A lot of trees. Just hold my hand tight when we get out. Don't let go. Promise?
I promise, Dad.
They rode with hope. They believed the promises, because on the doors it simply said, showers. How can you not trust the word showers? June 1942. Rudolf Vrba, 17 years old. Just an ordinary boy from Slovakia. His job: sort the belongings of the dead. Suitcases with names, wedding rings with engravings, toys that would never see their owners again. Mountains of stolen lives. But Rudolf did something more. He didn't just look. He counted. Every train, every group, every day. He kept the ledger of death in his head. By 1944, his count was staggering. 1,750,000. 1,750,000. Not numbers. People. Names. Dreams. Children who would never grow up. Parents who would never return. And Rudolf realized one simple truth. If the truth gets out, it will save hundreds of thousands of lives. But the truth was locked behind electrified fences and 200 trained dogs. No one had ever escaped Auschwitz to tell the world the truth. No one. Alfred Wetzler, 26, also Slovak, also Jewish. Together they had what others lacked: absolute trust in each other. And they studied the system. The security of Auschwitz is 2 rings: inner, outer. By day, prisoners work between them. By night, they are locked inside. When someone goes missing, roll call. The hunt: 200 dogs, hundreds of soldiers. Duration of the search: exactly 72 hours. Why 72? Nazi logic is simple. After 3 days, an escapee will be too far away. The patrols are needed at the front. After 3 days, the outer perimeter is lifted, and Rudolf saw a chance in this. What if they don't run? What if they hide right here, wait for the guards to leave, and simply walk out? It was madness. It was genius. But it meant spending 3 days inside the most heavily guarded hell on earth. The problem: 200 German shepherds, hunting machines, trained to smell fear through concrete, wood, and steel. Rudolf could fool the soldiers. He could fool the system. But how do you fool a dog's nose? The answer came from Soviet POWs. They knew what worked. The secret: Makhorka tobacco, soaked in gasoline. A dog follows the trail of microparticles in the air, but there are smells that do more than just confuse. They literally burn the receptors. They blind the nose. For weeks, they gathered the ingredients. Strong Russian tobacco, crumb by crumb. Soaked, dried, hidden. By April, they had enough to build an invisible wall. A wall of acidic chemical fog. Their shield. 2 p.m., April 7th, 1944. They put on civilian suits, smuggled in by the underground. If they make it through the gates, they must look like men, not like shadows from a concentration camp. Their friends distracted the guards. Risking themselves, they drew the eyes of the SS away. Rudolf slipped into the tight niche first, Alfred behind him. Their friends sealed the entrance with planks, layer by layer, and then thickly scattered the mixture of tobacco and gasoline. Pause. They could have crawled into that gap themselves, tried to escape. Instead, they walled up their comrades and simply walked away. Back to the barracks, back to the danger zone, to a place they might never leave. They chose to stay so Rudolf and Alfred could go. Sometimes the most heroic act is not taking flight. It's the decision to stay in the shadows, to give someone else a chance. 1745. Nothing. Maybe they didn't notice. 1812. The siren. The sound that makes the blood of everyone in the camp run cold. The sound that means one thing. Someone is missing. And the chaos begins. 200 German shepherds. Rudolf hears them scattering across the compound, the scratching of claws on dry earth, feverish sniffing. Closer. Closer. They are frozen, not moving, barely breathing. One dog breaks from the pack. I hear his claws scratching the boards of our hideout. Short, sharp breaths. He stops right above our heads. He sniffs once, twice, a third time. This is the end. The dog snorts once more. Silence. And then, the sound of paws fading away. The tobacco and gasoline worked. We are still alive. But that was only the first night. And what comes next will be far worse than the dogs. The first night was chaos. The second night was silence. And it was worse. When there is nothing left to track outside, you are left alone with your own body. Rudolf's thoughts, 36 hours without moving. My legs went numb yesterday. Now the feeling is returning. It is agony. Cramps tear through my calves. My spine is literally pressing into the boards until the line between flesh and wood disappears. You cannot stretch. You cannot shift. Any movement is noise. Any noise is the end. In this darkness, the mind begins to devour itself. What if we were seen? What if they are torturing our friends?
Wir haben überall gesucht.
Was ist mit diesem Ort? Vielleicht sind sie drinnen.
Im Holz? Unmöglich. Die Hunde haben hier zweimal geprüft.
My heart stopped. Alfred stopped breathing. This is it.
Siehst du etwas?
Nein, nichts als Holz.
The third night. The quietest. The most terrifying. No barking, no footsteps. What if they are waiting? I don't know if they're gone. I don't know if it's a trap. I have two choices. Stay in this grave forever, or trust the plan. The air smelled of earth. It smelled of burning, and it smelled of freedom. But it was too early to celebrate. My body wouldn't obey. Muscles that knew no movement for 3 days had become alien. Clenching my teeth, I threw myself upward. 2 broken men in borrowed suits, on enemy territory, on legs that could barely hold them. Ahead, 130 kilometers to Slovakia, through occupied Poland. No food, no map, with bodies that had forgotten how to walk. But they made it out. They survived. The plan worked. 14 days of running through enemy territory. They survived. Now they will deliver the message. Rudolf dictated for 3 days, 40 pages. The Vrba Wetzler report. His final scream, "Hungary is next. 800,000 people in danger. Warn them now." The report was sent to the Vatican, to the Allies. And then came silence. Weeks of silence. Bureaucracy. "It's too complicated," they said. Rudolf stood by the station in Jelina when he heard the sound, a rumble in the distance, and then he saw it. A train, freight cars, sealed doors. The convoy was heading north. He knew the route. He had traveled it himself 2 years ago. The train moved slowly. Tomorrow another one will come. And the day after. I couldn't stop these trains. I couldn't open the doors. I could only stand and watch. In June, journalists finally printed the report. The BBC broadcasted it on the air. The world finally heard. Hungary halted the deportations. Rudolf Vrba lived until 2006. He saved 200,000 lives. But until his last days, he thought of those he could not save. This is not just a story. It is a warning. A thin line between civilization and madness. It shows that silence and apathy are the deadliest weapons a killer can ever hold. Remember, speak. Never let them forget.